be anywhere, maybe that's where we have to be, in the other room. So if we can, that's all right.
That's what we said already.
We'll postpone that and then we'll have the spiritual reflection or whatever we get with the next one. Okay?
Omnipresent and omniscient.
Yes, exactly so. So whenever you're ready, you know, for us to get into that.
And then your report,
Yes.
is that something you want to do? You said you wanted to facilitate the discussion.
Yeah, I
You want to
know,
do that?
I
Can
know,
you do
for
it here,
instance,
or can you do it when we're talking or something?
I know on here, of course, and I just learned about this. I know Wellington was going to do a presentation on team building and leadership, and I'm not quite too sure from what angle that he was coming from. I know, for instance, this group has already met, or at least members of this group have already had the opportunity to participate in a team building function with him a couple months ago, offsite, just...
Was it RDF? And we'll talk about that, but...
Oh, okay. But basically, I think, you know, when one thinks about team building, I think it's coming from the perspective...
It was RDF and DASA, too.
Okay.
We're together, man. We do whatever we do,
Right,
we're all there.
right.
Visibly or
We'll talk-
visibly, the
Sure.
same thing.
Sure.
I mean, what I'm willing to do is just do a refresher on the whole concept of teaming. Now, if that does not satisfy the one who is not into the process, that sometimes could guide, because you're seeing from the whole. Because sometimes when you're in the process, it is, you're not the process, because, yeah, you're not as objective as you'd like to be. And so what I offer to, what I'm offering to the group is to serve as a facilitator, to say, whoops, you know, if you look at this, play the devil's advocate, provide some sort of guidance, so at least it keeps the meeting moving and flowing in the right direction. Excuse me?
Would that be an overlap?
Not necessarily so. Not necessarily so, because the chairperson is actually doing the reporting, isn't that correct?
Well, and the agenda and
And
so
the agenda.
forth. But you're just contributing your own experience and background in the whole team building effort.
Exactly.
Every step of the way, rather than doing one block.
She's going to give her, it seems like a bird's eye view, because even when we're all caught up in it, even the chair and all of us
gets
could be a
caught up
little
in
bit
it.
out of rem. Somebody to police the police.
Right.
You know, so I think it is good to have somebody that is not in the immediate agenda, but has a fresher eye kind of from the outside saying, hey, that's what I think you're trying to do. I think we probably should get back to that. You know, the chair would do that, but just in case we need some help with that. I think that's how I understand it.
That's exactly the presentation meant here. So going back to the whole perspective of a team building, I think what I will share, just giving an overview of what is a team. I mean, a team is obviously a group of individuals coming together to work towards a common goal. A team also is an organism with different phases. Oftentimes we hear about a team and we just figure, you know, a bunch of people, we're working together for a goal and we'll just come together beautifully and everything will be perfect. It does not work that way. Just like an individual, we go through different phases in our lives. We start as a child, and then we go through a teenage life, and then we go through our adult years. Serendipity, man.
Serendipity. And this is exactly what we need to do. And I hope, please, Esther, can you please put this in writing for us? Because we need to understand where we are in the phase of our history. I will keep it short, but I have to say this is very enlightening. Despite the fact I may have been a little bit distracting here, but I'm a multitasker. I was listening, and thanks a lot for that. That is exactly the kind of thing that I think we kind of need at this phase. That's just what I wanted to say, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Can we, are we ready to move then?
Yes.
Yes, let's
Yes.
go.
So we know where the room is. Please bring with you what you need. I will lock there, and then we'll enter to the other room and we close this
Also,
up.
you've mentioned...
Let's wait for
They've been working on Dominica time now.
unless you want to proceed, because we'll have to say most everybody knows.
Where are they, by the way? I mean,
Peter went to get something. Andres coming.
That's it. And the other one went to the restroom. Ladies' business, you can't help her there.
But all of these efforts are commendable, but we must certainly get on board with this thing so we have a connection and we can advise on, you know, direction and so on. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is the Ross students they already have a program on the ground to do outreach and to do counseling and so on. Again, this is an open thing. There is no Dominican institution that's connected to that, as far as I know, and we need to do something in that area. There are other kinds of things like that that are going on with religious folks who come in, and we have to try to partner with them and proceed accordingly. Do we have?
Class 1 village, youth development and inclusion of cultural groups. I combine those two. There seems to be a lack of cultural pride among our youth, and it is part of our responsibility to bring about that feeling. That is why we are here, because we have pride, Dominican pride, natural pride, and I think that has lost over the last few years, and we need to bring that back. And one of the ways we can go about doing that, we have to build bridges between and links among the village groups and the main cultural institutions or houses in Dominica. They are more centralized in the cities, so we need to have branches in villages, and they can work together with the groups or village councils or create small cultural groups and teach them again the basic things that we grew up knowing, like drumming and not all rap music, and listen to reggae is good. But yeah, that email. And we need to, try to form a link there so we can instill that pride, Dominican pride. And when you have young Dominicans thinking that way, I think you change their mind and their concept, and they become very active in what is going on because they have a sense of belonging. And we need to encourage government to include cultural heritage in the primary school curriculum. I think you start to teach them when they're young, and they grow up with that in them, and they bring it along, because there's a time span where you need to capture their attention. And at the primary school stage, they need to do that, and it should be included in if it's an extracurricular activity after school, but that should be part of what the primary schools, teach the children.
Is there any space on your committee for me?
Yes, there are always.
Of course.
I forget to mention that we on the committee, Clayton and Peter are members, and myself, and I think there is one more person. Rasmo is on there also, and he will be involved in the cultural part. And now we have Fraser Jones.
Well, you also had other people.
Francis Richards is on the youth and development.
So you didn't like Arcadia Henry?
On the flow chart,
I didn't like my committee.
Arlene is on there too, on the flow chart. Well, she's not a committee member, but I guess she's a volunteer. Candy Arlene?
Didn't like my
Don't remember that.
It's on the, it's on
I
the,
think she's on the mentoring
mentoring.
list, yes.
She's the attached list names, and anyone that is interested in getting involved in the
Okay.
mentoring program. They can register.
I think at this point in time, I just would want to just put a, it's not a plug in, but just mention that I know that at the last meeting that Dr. Shillingford hosted at the Public Service Training Center, that the commandant of the cadet corps, Captain Richards, because he's also the commandant of the cadet corps, was present, and some cadets were present, because the investment of time and effort that the DAS has taken with the cadets is part and parcel of the entire youth program that you're doing. And I also would want to continue to volunteer as a mentor and otherwise, because it's tied in with what Dr. Senja is doing with security and crime, because at the youth leadership level, if we can get our young people disciplined and international development priorities, takes them away from teen pregnancy and takes them away from drugs. And we hope to, right now I can report to the gathering here that the Cadet Corps, which is an affiliate on the website of the DAS, has units in Granby, Portsmouth, and Roseau. All of that through the efforts of members of the DAS and other persons, including Alec Lawrence, who's a DAS member, a client in Cyprus, Nassau Skaterides, a Cyprus super businessman who donated uniforms. Portsmouth doesn't have uniforms, but they hopefully will get uniforms soon. In fact, there's a request that might be made to DAS members through the website, but I make it here in person, there is an order for uniforms for $3,700 something, and maybe when we're in more informal session, I can talk to members about it. But the idea again is to let the young people in Dominica know that those Dominicans who have gone overseas have not forgotten, and that we're continuing to contribute to the development of their priorities, you know, and I just want to congratulate you, Athenia, for the work you've done. Very good. Very good.
I did mention that Francis Richards has also agreed to be part of the youth group.
His was the name I forgot.
Yes, okay.
And our 5 to 3-year plan to see the implementation and operation of these suggestions, and most of all to include the youth in the leadership roles and decision making in DAS organizations and communities.
This is probably the area where we might have, I don't want to say greatest impact, but the potential to do things in that area very quickly is promising. So we really ought to move on that.
Clayton, you want to say anything about the Student Federation at the plan that it does at the last symposium in Dominica?
Yes, that kind of fell through, didn't it? I think we may be able to resuscitate it, that Student Federation idea. At the last symposium, we did agree, a number of us, to provide some financial support to get this thing resuscitated. And what's his name? The present headmaster of the Dominican
Simeon Joseph.
Simeon Joseph. He was supposed to have helped us to set this thing up, and unfortunately it didn't happen. Perhaps we should revisit that, the Student Federation idea.
Is that a letter, Peter?
Can I say a note on this?
Yes, Peter.
Perhaps if I was someone that got frustrated, I'd be very frustrated by this kind of event. I mean, it was a shame that someone like Simeon Joseph, who's a principal, even Alec Lawrence, I mean, these guys just dropped I almost stalked them. I mean, I felt guilty about calling Alec in his office so many times and making the phone call. I mean, you know how persistent I can be. And these guys just got into, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy that they thought this thing would be too short to flam and die anyway, so why would not just kill it now? And it's a shame. It's really a shame.
It is.
But then we put, with all the persistence that I always put in everything, I put into this. And this guy would just not return the call. I tried to find Simeon in Dominica, I can't even find him.
Okay. Well, Peter, I want to work with you to see what we can do, because if they're not the local partners we can make things happen with, we can maybe get others, because there are other people who we might be able to encourage.
Yeah, I mean, and it comes a point where you do these things and you say, well, you know, you have energy in other things and you're going to put in the energies where it's focused, you know. So one thing for me is that hopefully we can work through the carded course some more and do this, and I think that is the way that we should go.
Yes.
Who else in Dominica is on the education committee?
Well, I'm trying to get one of the teachers at St. Andrews and the principal of St. Andrews. They have already voiced concerns.
Who is Deborah Harris? Is she a local person too? I saw her name as part of the youth committee.
Deborah Harris?
Yes. No?
Deborah Harris is the Director of Education Programs at George Washington University. She's an African American who's offered to help the DAS in education.
Is that on the website?
I picked it up somewhere. I have it written down here.
Yes,
Deborah
yes,
Harris.
yes. She's a client of mine, Clayton.
Why?
So she joined the DAS on request, you know. And she can be very helpful with education issues because she's in, yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on, folks, because time is running out. Peter, it's 5:50 now.
Yeah, and we need to have a plan. I mean, so what we should do is spend a few minutes and figure out what we're going to table, matters we're going to table, what matters we're going to keep.
Okay.
The matters we can wind up here, because, I mean, preferably we shouldn't have anything business to talk over dinner, but if we must.
I agree. Well, based on what I see here, there are some of these things we touched upon. The diaspora unit in the PM's office, we discussed that, so I don't think we need to go over that again.
No.
We also discussed item 12 in some fashion, how we're going to build relationships with local committees, the government, private sector, Rotary and other local interests, churches and other institutions. What else do we have here? We have then under item 10, Fraser on the computer programming in schools, which may be related to what went on before. the Virgin Coconut Oil Project, and the MAF Society, and establishing physical headquarters. I'm going to give Fraser the opportunity in short time, Fraser, to talk about the computer program and the Virgin Coconut Oil. We have to be brief and to the point, and then the rest of the stuff we'll take up at dinner time. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sort of disappointed that I haven't had, nothing is on the ground yet implemented, right? But Mr. Barnes, he prepared something which for Mr. Dominica didn't get. But I don't know what approach I should take, whether I should be a little more persistent and so on behind him, right? But I know he's doing a lot and assisting a lot in other areas also, you know, if the youth things in schools, like I know he's working in the St. Andrews schools, he has a relationship with probably a science teacher there and with science projects and so on, helping out in other schools. But I have to try and see what I can do to speed him up. We agree, but...
And just interrupt. You haven't explained to us yet what the computer program is about.
Okay,
Here
here is a...
Oh.
Yeah, there is a handout. I didn't print much, I just got it the day before I leave. That's what from Peter himself, right? So you can pass it on, right? And he lists the aims and concept there. That's what him himself. It's basically introducing computer programming to kids, well, as you say here, from kindergarten to secondary school, to high school. That's the what he's looking at. And he's saying, yeah, programming and educational resources are available online, and local personnel is available to provide support and guidance. Right? So we want him to move in. I want him to move and actually implement these things. And I know he has certain reservations which I think I have to tackle head on. I've been encouraged, or say, two things. They're being penalized, and they think that's the attitude, you kill creativity. So I mean, even if they say they did the wrong implement on the street or whatever, but you can't,
I remember the car. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I have on my general thing. But I want to get some delivery.
Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fraser, what's the price of a gallon of the virgin oil?
Oh boy, I did not.
But from your view, does it look, from what you read, does it look competitive?
It is competitive. It's much more lucrative than, I think it's a higher price than, because a lot of people taking it for health benefit. I told my sister about it, and she bought it because she have diabetes.
Okay.
And and that's one of the things about it. And the thing with diabetes, they are telling you to lose weight. The medical profession is saying that people should lose weight and so on, right? Some people. Right, and most of the medication, they are saying that some of the medication they give now is actually making you gain weight, right? And that kind of thing. So she have been going through some years, a lot of years, and she haven't gotten full because they're telling her to increase the medication and all that. So she said she would try this thing, and she said, yeah, she gets some benefits, increased energy and so on, which is what on that and so on. So people
are... Is that the oil causing her to invest?
Yeah, the oil, because the oil facilitates the utilization. Yeah, virgin coconut oil, not the one that was made from copper, but this way it actually facilitates the utilization of the utilization of the burning up of sugar in the cell to produce energy. Yeah. Right? So, and they got...
I thought coconut oil was high in calories.
Oh, you should check the website and all that.
That's not the regular oil.
That was a myth too.
Oh, I like that myth because I love coconut.
We have to follow up with the scientific.
Because she also grew up with the mentality that it was very unhealthy, very fatty. But it has the benefits, and if we could get that out more, it'd be really good for the country.
Is there something that you'd like to volunteer with regard to the DAS to do with regard to science, sir?
Volunteer?
Yes.
Yeah, you can work with Fraser about this. In fact, one
Yeah.
volunteer
Yeah,
is the article that you, if we could track that down, that would be a good start.
And as you know, with regard to volunteering, there's no immediate money in it, but
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
It's just on the internet.
yeah,
Okay.
I,
I can do that.
what was the highlights of the study?
The study that I did,
Yeah, what was some of the?
just like, I realized that coconut oil was used a lot more earlier on. Like in the 1980s, use went down dramatically because the FDA was saying it was more unhealthy, and so soy oil and corn oil became more popular, but most people think it was more of a ploy to bring up the American economy.
Look at you.
Hey! Okay, this is just now. Hey! Hey! Stop the film! Did you realize what you're doing?